Like always, truly appreciate the media members that travel and really whoever they work for allowing them to travel. Really appreciate you guys covering Penn State football. I also want to thank the fans that did travel to support our guys. Being able to come on the road and get a Big Ten win, we appreciate those. They're hard to get. You look at our conference, you look at nationally, you got to value every win that you can get. So, obviously we did some good things. When you talk about the field position battle, we won that. The turnover battle, we won that. I think that's really been, a story for our season and something I'm really going to emphasize on Sunday with the guys. When we're able to create turnovers on defense and limit them on offense, we're tough to beat. Penalty battle, kind of surprised, that we won that one, but we did. It didn't feel like that during the game. And then the explosive play battle, we won it. We did not meet our goal on offense, but we did win it in terms of ours compared to theirs. Obviously the 16 tackles for loss, it's the most that we've had since they started keeping a statistic from an NCAA perspective. Our red zone defense has been tremendous all year long. And then Nick and Katron both tied for the freshman record of touchdowns. Obviously those things are big for us. Those guys are producing and being erasers for us in the run game. And then the last thing I'll say, to then take questions, is obviously Jake Pinniger's playing really well. Their return man, number 12. We were concerned about him being a factor in the game, and I thought the kickoffs today were consistent and really made that guy a non-factor for the most part of the game. And then obviously hit a 50-yard field goal too. So some good things there to build on. Open up the question.
Raise your hand, we'll call on you. Mark?
James, could you talk about the play of the offensive line with all the guys that you had out, and particularly Drew Shelton coming into a tough position like that, and how you thought the group did and he did?
Yeah, I can't have it both ways, right? I can't say I'm not going to talk about injuries and then expect you guys to understand how challenging that was. Shelton as a true freshman starting at left tackle in the Big Ten in this type of game on the road, has not played a whole lot. We're trying to redshirt him if we could. Not only did he played well. You got J.B. Nelson, who we were trying to redshirt as well, played a ton of reps today. You see Sal, he's banged up and bruised, and he battled today. You look at Hunter, banged up and bruised, and he battled today. Really, really proud of those guys and what they did and how they did it and the sacrifice that they're making for the team. I'm proud. I'm proud of those guys. I really am proud of those guys and how they played and their toughness and getting them ready to be able to play. I thought some of our veteran guys did a good job of helping those guys get ready to play this week too.
Rich?
James, since it was a topic of discussion, why did you decide to stick with Sean as the starter, and can you evaluate both quarterbacks, both Sean and Drew?
I'm sorry, say this again?
I said because it was a topic of discussion, why did you decide to continue with Sean as the starter, and can you evaluate both quarterbacks?
Yeah, nothing had changed. We still I told you I had discussion with members on the staff, but nothing had changed from our perspective. Everybody still saw it the same way. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't too close to the decision, literally to a man. Everybody saw it the same way. Now, obviously, we would have loved to get Drew in this game. That was part of the plan, to hopefully continue to get him as many reps as we possibly can. But it really, I know you guys, I think the last time I got together with you, I think my first 7 questions were about the quarterback position. And for us, it wasn't it wasn't a lot of dialogue. It was one discussion that we had. And after that, we just kind of went back to our normal operation.
Can you evaluate how both of them played?
I don't have this statistic. Yes, I do. Sean was 15 for 23 with 1 interception. Drew was 9 for 12 for 2 touchdowns. Obviously Sean, did some really good things. The 1 interception, obviously, we got to get rid of that. It's one thing if a defender makes a big time play, but that wasn't the case there. So we got to get rid of that. But overall, he does what he always does, which is do a great job of managing the protections, great job of all the checks that we're using in the run game or the find motions and things like that we do to account for guys. And then Drew got a couple series with the 1s against the 1 defense, and then late in the game it was a bunch of the 2s in there against the 2 defense, so it's kind of hard. You're not really comparing apples to apples. But I also understand that you guys don't get to see it as much. I know everybody's got strong opinions on what we should do with, and it's not your fault, but with probably less than 1% of the information, where we get to watch these guys in practice every single day, in meetings and in the games, and they're both doing really good things, and obviously we need to continue to get Drew as many opportunities as we can.
Mike?
James, when you say I wanted to make sure I wasn't too close to it, you mean, could you elaborate on that a little bit? You mean loyalty to Sean?
No, what I said is any situation. It's like, I remember back when you'd write essays and you'd write an essay over and over and over, and you got a typo in there and you don't see the typo, so you get a fresh set of eyes on it to look at it. So, making sure the way I see it is the same way that the offensive coordinator sees it, that the other guys that got head coaching experience see it, that the defensive coordinator, that everybody sees it the same way. Ultimately, that's really my job, in my opinion, is to make the best decisions that we possibly can for the program. But I don't sit there, making those decisions on my own. I talk to the people that I have around me. We do that in recruiting. We do that in personnel. We do that in scheme. We have discussions. We've got a bunch of talented people in the room with a bunch of different experience. And, with every decision, I try to get their input.
Ben?
Obviously, Catron played a physical, successful sort of running game today. How he does really helps how Drew develops the ability for him to help the guys around him. How important do you think that is, not only for Drew, but for Catron, for them to both sort of be able to feed off of each other?
Yeah, I think it's really important. We got 2 really good backs that obviously we're excited about, and they're getting a ton of reps and getting a ton of experience. But I think your point is a good one. What we have to continue to do is not only continue to develop and recruit at the quarterback position, but then we also need to make sure that we surround those guys with as much talent as possible, so that we give ourselves the best chance to win week in and week out, no matter who the competition is. And to be able to take a check down and hit a Catron Allen and him be able to break it for 30 or 50 yards, they're big time plays. To be able to hand the ball off to Nick Singleton, and he's a threat to score at any point during the game and go 80. Those things are obviously really valuable. The tight end room that we have developed, the offensive linemen that we're starting to develop. That's the challenge, right? Is how do you get all the pieces of the puzzle there at the same time? There's sometimes where you're really strong at one position and maybe you're inexperienced at another. And what we're trying to do is try to build a team and a program that we're hitting on all cylinders at every position all the time.
Corey?
This is kind of about the win. We found out yesterday afternoon there would be all this win. Did that?
Oh, I thought you said the
Win.
win. I was like, yeah, let's talk about the win and not
Does that,
the quarterback position.
Did that change?
But it's the win.
Well, there's a quarterback question.
Shocking.
did that change any game plan? Did it make you want to keep Sean in the game longer when you started to get a 24/7 lead, that kind of thing? Does it change the thinking at all? And how bad was the win at all?
The win was bad. It probably wasn't as bad as I thought. It may have been based on some of the reports that I got. I also thought we were going to get rain, maybe before the game and just up to the game, and maybe into the first quarter. That didn't happen, so that helped. But no, that really didn't factor in, because if anything, you're thinking about if you're getting a bad weather game, you may run the ball a little bit more. So no.
Last question, Johnny.
Yeah, James, after, I think it was the Purdue game, you said you were determined to develop depth. We talked about Katron, Nick, and those guys, but even across the board with the freshmen, saw Nittany with interception, Zane made a play out there. Abdul, where do you feel like you guys are as a freshman class total right now in the games when it comes to developing that depth?
Yeah, I think it's one thing to say you're determined to create depth, by playing guys early on and things like that. But there's also just the factor, and I said this summer to you guys, I think, that I felt like we had more guys in this freshman class that we felt like would be able to contribute. So that helps, right? You're going into the mentality that we got to create more depth. But it obviously helps when you got a guy like Nittany, who does not look like a freshman. I mean, he's 265 pounds. He's also one of the fastest guys in our program. We do the catapults, and the numbers he's putting up is ridiculous. And he's productive, and he's smart, and he's disciplined, and he's mature. And we got a bunch of guys like that, so the combination of guys that have been in the program and have earned their opportunity to play, and then, the freshman class being one of the better freshman classes we've brought in, and I'm not talking based on recruiting rankings, I'm just talking about production on the field. I think that's been great, and I think it's been really important. But I'm happy with the win. I'm happy with how we played. It's something to build on. I'm looking forward to getting on the bus and watch the tape, and then get on the plane and watch the tape, and then get together with you guys Tuesday. Can't wait to see what subject matter can get back to the quarterback position, whether it's quarterback. That one really threw me. So, but appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Coach.
And how do you quarterback question Stratford?
Yeah.